Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Sunny here, and today we got a big global lab once again. There's a lot of stuff in here, and there are some more class changes this time. It's a lot of classes. This patch should all be out next Thursday, next maintenance. That is going to be the 14th. And the 15th global lab, we are expecting to at least get some information about Idania that then will be coming out the following week. So let's get into it right now. Also, join Twitch and kick.com/Biceptimusprime. We stream this and we cover this in depth every Friday, right? So this is going to be sort of like the overview for you guys here on YouTube. So first off is a big information here. Today's patch is looking to be the last class balance patch other than numbers adjustments, right? The follow-up adjustments to the previous announced mouse to move has been finalized with this week's update. After this follow-up adjustments is complete, right, we are currently checking PvE and PvP damage of each class after the damage calculation formulas changed, and we're preparing adjustments to PvE damage first. Once PvE damage adjustments completed, PvP damage will be adjusted next. So yeah, hopefully next week already we'll start seeing PvE damage changes. I'm also just gonna say it right away before we even get to Warrior. Super disappointed in some of these fixes. There's more than just mouse movement compensation, in my opinion, right? But yeah, numbers next, and there can of course be more stuff than just damage buffs and nerfs coming the next couple of weeks, but expect nothing, right? So let's get to it. For Warrior shield charge, it now rotates in the direction you use it. It doesn't change anything. Because as it turns out, it already did forward guard in the direction you were looking, even though it didn't turn around. So it's purely a visual thing. Here they're removing the attack power of Scars of Dusk and putting it on counter attack. Q block is going to give you 40 DP now for Sock Warrior instead of 20. It already did this, except it was something that had to stack up when being hit. So it's just instantly gets the buff. You don't have to refresh it on Q blocks. Nice little buff here. Now, these are some really, really big changes coming for these three abilities. We went on Global Lab and I tested them out. So these three abilities are some follow-ups when you're in block and you get hit, Q block and you get hit. You could use these, like, there's suicide, you lock them, garbage, useless. You would never ever want to use them. It was straight up just killing yourself doing them. However, they're changing now. So the first one here is shield counterattack. This ability, if you get hit while in Q block in pre-awakening, so this affects Awakened Warrior as well, you can now click R and B and it will do a shield charge, which is a forward guard stiffen. It's great movement ability, but it doesn't put shield charge on cooldown. It's its own cooldown. So you can actually do another shield charge after this. That's pretty freaking great. So now you have like some movement stuff, some things you can do when you are in Q block, right, and get hit. These are going to be unlocked now. Next up is hitting the sack. This will allow you the same. You get hit on your block, and now you can do a spinning slash. And once again, it doesn't put spinning slash on cooldown. So this you want to lock for Awakened Warrior, useless. This one here you lock as well for Awakened Warrior, but this here you can use for Awakening. Sock Warrior want all three unlocked, right? So you can actually do double spinning slash back to back, and it also amplified the damage of the abilities, so it deals even more damage. And since it's using the actual abilities, it would be protected. It would be a super armor if you're Succession. Next up is Furious Strike, which again you can use this. I think it's W R&B, and this here is like S LMB, and this here is just R&B. So over here on the Furious Strike, it allows you to use Scars of Dusk out of the Q block without putting Scars of Dusk on cooldown. So you could also do double Scars of Dusk back to back if that's what you wanted to. So this could be, I guess, like depending on circumstances. Just say you have somebody on the ground and you get hit on it, right? You could use this Furious Strike, you could re-KD, and then use another Scars of Dusk for a combo. So there's some cool options and plays with these that actually unlocks some skill plays. Like, great to see. Making these terrible abilities actually useful. And for Awakening, 0.1 second, approximately 0.1 second longer iframe on head chase. And after using a skill, the character's orientation will now maintain regardless of camera rotation when returning standby. I don't even know what this does. I couldn't notice it. And this one here on the grab skill has been improved to connect smoothly after using the awakening skill. I went on Global Lab and I played around with it. What it seems to be is that you don't have to Q cancel anymore to use your grab. I'm not convinced that it's quicker. We tried to do some testing, like compare and everything. I don't think it's actually quicker, but basically what it allows you to do is to cancel out of abilities that you had to Q cancel out of before. So instead of doing Solar Flare QE or Solar Flare CE, you can just Solar Flare E. You can use grab out of Gravedigger. So instead of Gravedigger and then Q grab right, you can just click E. So it looks to just dumb down the class even more and just make it easier. It's a buff, I guess, for people that don't know how to Q block and Q cancel stuff on Warrior, but it doesn't seem to have any actual changes if you were already using Q cancels. So it just basically seems to be dumbing down the class. Now, maybe it felt a little quicker on Global, so I'll have to wait and see when it comes out. But I'm not convinced it does anything but that. But hopefully it actually does speed it up out of abilities. But yeah, so anyway, let's move on. Ranger. They're changing this to be PvP CC. Knockdown, knockback, knockdown. For Awakening, the skills be changed to use it even in longbow mode. And Evasive Shot has been changed so you can activate it by spacebar following the skills. So basically, like the plays, the abilities you can combine are changed. So you can see like some of the combos they're doing now here out of the iframe. Looking pretty solid. Next up is Sorg. Mark of Shadows has been changed. It's now getting a front guard, and you can maintain that for 2 seconds. 6-second cooldown. You don't get any of these like shots on it. It recovers HP and it does a 20% slow for 5 seconds. Tamer looks to be getting some very nice stuff here. Knockback has been changed to only monsters, and stiffness has been moved over to the Moonlight Strike. Also, we got knockback here. Has been changed to applying to monsters. The status effects have been changed to applying PvP as well for the Sky Reach. So they're basically moving CCs over. And you have the tree climbing jump right, adding the ability to link aerial lightning and trample techniques when using the skills. So you can jump in and, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe these are like follow-up CCs. Also here, added the ability chain with Scratch Skill as using the skill. You can jump in and do this, like some movement super armor stuff, yeah. For Awakening, the bound effects of the last have changed to knock back. Status effects have been changed to apply in PvP as well. And change of the final hit is triggered quickly when left clicking. And the attack range now matches the effect size for Awakening. So some of these classes have been hurt, like Tamer and Warrior, very hurt by the grab nerf, right? Probably is CC mods faster and better for chasing. Yeah, so like actually adding a bit of catches. I think that's what they're trying to do with Warrior up here as well. With like easier grabbing out of abilities and this here. But yeah. We'll see. Valkyrie, some pretty nice stuff for Valkyrie actually. Unironically, nice changes. More combinations here. Added the ability to change all of these together for Valkyrie. Super smooth, nice. Attack range have been adjusted to match the effect. Movement reduction has been removed. Defense reduction has been removed. However, they changed the counter attack and down attack special attack to air attack and down attack. And also the following skills can trigger with W left clicking after purification and punishment. Now here are some of the bigger changes. Bound effect has been removed from Holy Power, the Shift F ability. However, they changed the Inslar, the jump-in, the Sock Valkyrie Inslar jump to be a bound. So this here is like a cool, but it's a slow AoE, slow CC. So now it's just like a super armor damage ability, but you get the bound on your engage, the inside jump in. So I think that's a pretty good PvP buff, if you ask me. But I don't play the class, so what the hell do I know? Next up is the Valkyrie sword. Here's where like the warrior iframe stuff is like, oh, come on. Anyway, right? So warrior got a 0.1 second iframe increase, and Valkyrie gets a 0.2, doubling on the iframe. It probably needs it. I'm not even mad about it. I would just like more too, right? So yeah, it's doubling up on the actual iframe that you can spam here. And same for Awakening, it also goes from 0.2 to 0.4 on the iframe, yeah. It's an actual skill now. This here, oh my god, okay, so there's some stuff where like, okay, I might as well, it's a range meta. It's a range meta now. There's more, guys, there's more. Witch Wizard. Super armor on the dash. It finally happened. They got a double super armor when you're using your magical evasion, and also they equalized Witch and Wizard magical evasion. There were some differences between Witch and Wizard. Now, right, Witch magical evasion has been changed to be the same as Wizard's magical evasion. And now you can use it twice in a row, even when activated backwards, and yeah, left, right, whatever, right? And then change that its super armor is applied using the skill. Huge. This is actually an insanely big change. Another one that's probably going to be crazy is the change to DK. This right here is a toggle on-off useless ability previously. It increases damage by 20% though. So now they're changing it. They don't say how much. We assume it's still 20% damage increase, but it increases the PvP damage now of the following attack. Before it's just auto attack, I think. Execution, Wheel of Fate, Black Ashes, Bitter's Madness, and also the BSR abilities. On a toggle, passive, 20% damage increase for PvP. And Awakening now, it also works for Awakening with the Seed of Disaster, Root of Disaster, Reign of Despair, and Spirit Oxidation. And the cost of having this on is 200 mana every 2 seconds. And you can toggle it on and off. This is going to be pretty crazy. If it's a 20%. And now your new Overlord, there is some Awakening Sage nerfs. Meet your new Overlord, Archer. Stamina from 200 to 100. 200 to 150. 150 to 100. 150 to 100. And stamina 150 to 100. So, yeah, you're not going to run them out of stamina anymore. I feel like Archer is going to be one of the best small skill classes right now. Circle still? No, they won't. No, they won't. They won't. They're going to be kiting guards. I fought some archers after the patch as well, even just one was one on my warrior, and the only chance I had was trying to run them out of stamina. Good luck with that now. Soglan also looks to be pretty up big. Added ability to link the Frankenstone when using the gliding skill, right? So the gliding skill, you get new linkage. And here, this is the jumping, right? When you're gliding and you land. This is the CC when you land, right? When using the Instant Brand skill in Crescent Moon, Super Armor is now applied to the attack motion. It is full Super Armor bound, I believe it is, when you land. You can no longer catch them in that unprotected frame when they land. So full protection on this one. Next up is Stiffness has been changed to only apply to monsters on this one here. So this was a super armor, but it was unprotected on the CC application. Now it's a full super armor, but it doesn't CC anymore. However, they moved the CC over to this, which is a full super armor. So now it does Stiffness on the first hit and then a KD on the last hit. However, the icon is a different ability, but it's probably going to be the one with a huge wind up. And if it is, then this is probably not going to be used very much, if at all. It's a very long wind up with nothing, and apparently it's animation locked. So they should probably need to change some of that. But yeah, like just this one here, the first two, absolutely huge. And also this here is going to be another full soup armor. And for Awakening, attack power has been added to Dance Death. It's the same as the other ones it already has, so now it's just going to be easier to keep up. Bleeding effect has been like unified at 50 per second for 18 seconds. And for Blood Brush Art, improved the linkage, so now it doesn't have this like weird stoppage. Now you can see over here, like just straight ahead. And for the Black Spirit No Return, the BSI abilities, the preemptive action applied before attack has been removed, so no more wind up. And the critical hit chance and decreased defense have been removed. However, they're changing the CC from stiffness to KD. And for the BSI ability over here, the wind up is also removed. And the defense reduction have been changed from 20 to 25. Okay, Guardian. Strap in for this one, boys. The effects of down attack has been added to the skill. And over here, for Merciless Steps and the river, changed so it only applied knockback to monsters. However, it gets a forward guard when you're following up with the mountain. And that's it. Assassin Succession is getting some nerfs. Nothing for Awakening. Stamina consumption increased from 250 to 400. And they nerfed the healing reduction from 33 to 10%. And the air attack buff from 10 to 2.5%. Pretty good. Nova, they added a 15% attack speed buff for 30 seconds when you use, what's it called? Acceleration. Quick note, you already have a 50% attack speed buff in the kit. Probably not going to stack, so it just means you don't have to use your attack speed buff when you are in acceleration mode. Next up is added an effect that resets the cooldown of orbital deviation skill when skill hits successful. Yeah. Now let's get to the meat of the patch today, what you've all been waiting for. Succession Sage buffs. They added the same attack power buff to Spatial Shatter. I think this is the accuracy buff as well, right? So you don't have to use, you can use that one, boom, you're good. And they allowed you to use WFCC without any like precast. And for Awakening, I think this is good. I think these are actually good nerfs, and I will explain them. They might seem like very low, but let me explain them when we get into them. Stamina is basically the name of the nerf here. Stamina consumption increased from 100 to 150, from 150 to 200, and when it's on cooldown, from 150 to 100 to 150, 150 to 200. 2 seconds cooldown increase here from 10 to 12 seconds, and no more shock on current chain. You still have to shock, which is the slow effect on the lightning abilities, on other abilities, but this one here, like, just applied it basically for free. And this is the big one that ties these other nerfs together. The prison of the lightning prison, defensive judgments change from soup armor to forward guard. Now, let me quickly explain for people that don't play the class right, that just gets found by it, why this is actually really good. It doesn't kill the class, but it might actually just nuke the bottom aspect of it. It still has all the soup armor movement, all the protections, all that stuff, right? But when you're spamming these abilities, you're now actually going to be using your stamina. And this ability, the Lightning Prison, it's the big animation where he's standing there throwing down lightnings. It's the big nuke. And that's going to be a forward guard now, not a soup armor. This is massive because it's, if not the best and one of the absolute best abilities in the entire kit of recovering stamina. So you'll see a lot of sages just standing still, like even out of range, and using this ability to recover stamina and then spam the movement stuff. Now you can punish them. Now it's an actual option to try and go for a CC. You know they're going to be running out of stamina faster. They're going to have to use these abilities to try and recover stamina, and now it's punishable. Now you can actually try and go for a CC. They can still cancel out of it and everything, but now if they do that, then they lose their stamina recovery. So now playing on stamina can be an actual way of fighting a stage. Positioning, good players, they're going to be just fine. It's still going to be an absolute insane powerhouse. So yeah, everything considered, I'm pretty happy about these changes. That's not going to kill Awakened Sages, but it might put a dent in the bottom players. Next up is Awakening Maegu. The TLDRs, they think it's a problem that Awakening Maegu is an insane assassin, nukes backlines, two-shots them, and then are immortal guards afterwards because they just run like Evasion Centaur and a Green Orphan, and they still two-shot people. So what they're doing is they're nerfing survivability. They're keeping the assassin aspect. HP recovery goes down from 2,800 to 2,000. And it loses its evasion buff. This right here is the evasion, increased evasion skill. That's gone now. So it loses tankiness as well on the evasion build. However, still has all the same damage. And even if you skill in the strong state, it's been changed to move after preceding action. This is the block jump. So hopefully you can't do these insta-cancel block jumps either. So it's going to be a slightly more reactionary when you see them coming in instead of just instant jumping on your back and two-shotting you in there. So, slight nerfs, but hopefully bigger impact, while still maintaining the identity of the class. And they took Awakening Dosa out back and put a... So anyway, right, Awakening Dosa completely nuked in 1 versus 1. Small scale, it's not like it was a god mode for that to begin with, but yeah, they're changing the CC from KD to KB, knockdowns to knockbacks. Basically, the goal is to make it reliant on other players in group play. So, yeah, you can catch people, whatever, but they want you to be reliant on other players to CC so you can do the damage. Alternatives against nerfing damage. Fire spread, the fire ability, it loses knockdown as well, and it gets a stiffen. So it lost the 2 KDs in the kit, and it gets a knockback and a stiffen instead. So that's no follow-up CCs, right? There goes your KD follow-ups. And they also added split damage for group PvP on the fire spread, and they nerfed the HP recovery on the skywalking, the spacebar ride, from 1200 to 500. Ooh. I mean, I feel like Sage got a slap on the wrist, and they just blasted Dosa. Yeah. I guess the good news is there's no Sorcerer buffs in today's patch. So next up is some changes here for fall animations. Warrior and Sorcerer fixed it where players would transition to a non-combat state when sliding down slope, and in general, right? When you're running down, they're showing here. Finally, they're doing this. This is absolutely amazing. If you're running down cliffs, sometimes you get these fall animations and knock you out of the abilities, like this. They are fixing a lot of these abilities, as you can see here, to no longer get these fall animations. They have a list of classes and abilities that are affected by this, so you can use these running down slopes, etc., etc. Awesome. And all classes are here, so make sure you find your class, unless of course you're playing Wukong, because PA apparently forgot that class exists. Wukong, you might say. I'm sure next week, guys, they're gonna remember the class exists and give it some changes, and maybe the abilities it's missing. Over here, it's like just some boring stuff, right? You can just do 10x turn-ins on these seals, nothing changes in it, right? Quest stuff, NPC, right. Anyway, the T11 horse, it's in. It's called the Crocodile. The T11, the combined horse, which is all the 3 horses in one. We can see a quick video here of how it works. Basically, if you're in the air, it's an Autodon. As soon as you touch water, it transforms into a Dine. And if you're running then on Earth, it is a Doom horse. So you just have all the 3 horses combined in one. This should be coming next maintenance, guys. How do you get this? You get it for free by just doing a simple quest. If you have the Crocodile stable, that's the only requirement. You just have the Crocodile stable. You go over here, you show it, and boom, you get the horse. The horse has the best stats of it doesn't have 2-seater. It has the best stats of all the horses. So all the 3 horses have different best stats. It just has combined, it has best stats from all the horses. It learns all the special T10 abilities 100% except 2-seater, and then you can level it up, right? Here's the stats and everything. So yeah, that's coming in. That's coming in. You can't use these abilities, but you can still level it and all that. And yes, for anyone wondering, you can use the crocodile feathers on it. So if you're like me and have been keeping them all this time, I think now's the time to finally use it. They are also updating the preset for artifacts and pets. So that's it. They're changing some description here with the just like wording it a bit better. The artifact presets goes from 10 to 20 and pet presets up to 10 now. Yeah, and doing the regular maintenance, that's going to be August 14 for Oth. The storage units will be changed to the server, and the artifact preset and pet settings will be reset. So they're resetting the pets because they're moving it from client to server side. So then there's also some fixes and changes here, just like wordings and phrasing, bug fixes, descriptions, things like that. There is some stuff, right? Like the issue where the recommended attack power values for the following hunting grounds in the personal UI was different, has been fixed. Again, wording changes. So yeah, that is it for today's patch. I was hoping to see like a bit more class stuff, but we should hopefully already next week start seeing some PvE damage changes. I know that's something that's on a lot of people's minds with all these cap changes, and also of course Idania coming out following week. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.